This is the 1-2 Order of Operations Practice worksheet, page 14 of your homework. And it starts off with evaluate each expression. And remember, evaluate means find the answer. So when it says evaluate 11 squared, they're asking you what does 11 squared equal. So 11 squared means 11 times 11, and that's 121. The next one, 8 cubed, means 8 times itself 3 times. So 8 times 8 times 8. 8 cubed is 5 to the 4th, means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 is 625. Next one, we have parentheses. Parentheses comes first, so we do what's inside them. So 15 minus 5 is 10. And then the next step is multiplication. 10 times 2 is 20. Again, we have parentheses in number 5, so we do 3 plus 4 first. Everything else stays the same, so 3 plus 4 is 7. And then the next step, multiplication and division, 9 times 7 is 63. And we don't have parentheses, we don't have exponents in number 6, so we start with the multiplication, 7 times 4. Everything else stays the same, so we get 28. 5 plus 28 is 33. In number 7, we have parentheses. We do that first. So we have 4 times 3 plus 5 is 8, minus 5 times 4. After parentheses is exponents. We don't have any. So then we move on to multiplication. We have 4 times 8 and 5 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 5 times 4 is 20, and 32 minus 20 is 12. Next we have number 8. In number 8 we don't have any parentheses, but we do have exponents. So we're going to do 3 squared first. If you're not on that step, everything else stays the same, so 3 squared is 9. And then the next step is multiplication and division, and they're on the same level, so they go from left to right. Multiplication does not just come first, it's just because we say multiplication first. So 22 divided by 11 is the first thing we run into, and that's 2. And then 2 times 9 is next. Working our way from left to right, that's 18. And then we're done with multiplication and division, and we move on to addition and subtraction. 18 minus 9 is 9. Number 9, 6 squared plus 3 times 7 minus 9. We have an exponent, so we'll do that first. 6 squared is 36. Then we have multiplication and division. We have 3 times 7, so 36 plus 3 times 7 is 21 minus 9. And then addition and subtraction are on the same level, so we work our way from left to right with them. 36 minus 21 is 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. In number 10, we have 2 sets of parentheses. So we work our way into the first set to do that all first. And then within the parentheses, we still do please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So inside these square parentheses or brackets, we do this part, 27 divided by 9, inside that parentheses first. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And then we're going to do the rest of that bracket stuff first. 10 minus 3 is 7. So then we have 3 times 7, the last step, 21. Same thing in number 11. Inside the parentheses first, we have parentheses again. So we're going to do that first. If you're not on that step of the ladder, you leave everything the same. So inside the parentheses, inside the brackets, we have 36 divided by 6, which is 6. Then inside the brackets, the next step would be exponents. So we have 5 squared, which is 25. We don't have multiplication or division inside those brackets, so the next step is addition, subtraction. So we have 25 plus 6 is 31. And then the last step, now that we've gotten rid of the brackets and parentheses, is multiplication, because that's all that's left. 2 times 31 is 62. Number 12, we have 162 divided by, and then in brackets, 6 times 7 minus 4 squared. So inside the brackets, we're going to do the parentheses first. And inside the parentheses, we have 7 minus 4, which is 3. Everything else stays the same if you're not on that step. And then inside those brackets, we've done parentheses. The next thing we do is exponents, which is that squared. So 3 squared is 9. And then inside those brackets, the next step is multiplication and division. Guess I don't really need the bracket anymore. Inside those brackets, the next step is multiplication and division. 6 times 9 is 54. And then 162 divided by 54 is the last step, and that equals 3. All right. When we have fractions like we do in 13 through 15, we treat it like the top is in parentheses and the bottom is in parentheses. So we treat those separately until there's only one number on top, one number on the bottom, and then we go through. All right, so in number 13, we have in parentheses on top, 5 squared times 4 plus 5 times 4 squared. So inside the parentheses, the first thing we take care of is those exponents. So we have 5 squared is 25 times 4 minus 5 times 4 squared is 16. And then 5 times 4 on the bottom. Remember, when you put a number in parentheses next to another number, they're being multiplied, so that's all that meant. Okay, then we have 25 times 4 is 100, and then 5 times 16 is 80. And then on the bottom, we do the multiplication in those parentheses, which is 20. And then on the top, we have addition as our next step. 100 minus 80 is 20 over 20. Now that we just have one number on top of one number, 20 divided by 20 is 1. Number 14, we have inside our parentheses that I added on top, we have another set of parentheses. So that's what we'll do first. And inside that, we have 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 is 10. Everything else stays the same. The next step inside our parentheses is exponents. And we have 2, we have 3 squared and 10 squared. So I have 10 squared is 100. 3 squared is 9. And then the last step in each of those is addition and subtraction. So 100 plus 4 is 104. And then 9 minus 5 is 4. And then we do the division of those two parentheses. Now that they're alone, 104 divided by 4 is 26. And then number 15, we have inside the parentheses 2 exponents that'll come first. So we have 7 plus 3 squared is 9. And we have 4 squared is 16 times 2 on the bottom. The next thing is the multiplication of 16 times 2. So we have 7 plus 9. And 16 times 2 is 32. And then the last thing in parentheses is 7 plus 9. So 7 plus 9 is 16 over 32. And 16 divided by 32 is 0.5. In the next section, we evaluate expressions. And when we evaluate expressions, they tell us what each variable equals. So in this case, A is going to be 12, B is going to be 9, and C is going to be 4. Anytime we see those letters, we can put those numbers in. So that's going to be the first step of every problem. And then it just turns into what we've been doing, using the order of operations properly. So in number 16, we have A squared plus B minus C squared. So A is 12 squared plus B is 9 minus C is 4 squared. So no parentheses, exponents is our next thing. So we have 2 of those. So 12 squared is 144. 4 squared is 16. And then we work from left to right with addition and subtraction. So 144 plus 9 is 153. And then 153 minus 16 is 137. In number 17, we have B squared plus 2 times A minus C squared. B is 9 squared plus 2 times A is 12 minus C is 4 squared. So no parentheses, but we do have exponents again, so we start with those. So 9 squared is 81. And 4 squared is 16. The next thing we work with is the multiplication. So 12 times 2 is 24. And then addition and subtraction from left to right. 81 plus 24 is 105. Minus 16 is 89. Alright, in number 18 we have 2 times C, and then in parentheses, times A plus B. So that turns into 2 times C is 4, and then A is 12 plus B is 9. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses come first. Inside the parentheses we have 12 plus 9. Everything else stays the same. So we have 12 plus 9 is 21. So now I multiply from left to right. 2 times 4 is 8. And then 8 times 21 is 168. Number 19, 4 times A plus 2 times B minus C squared. So 4 times A is 12 plus 2 times B is 9 minus C squared is 4 squared. We have exponents that we're going to deal with first. So we have 4 times 12 plus 2 times 9. All that stays the same. And then minus 16. After exponents comes multiplication and division. So 4 times 12 is 48. And 2 times 9 is 18. 48 plus 18, excuse me, is 66. Minus 16, working from left to right with addition and subtraction. 66 minus 16 is 50. Number 20, we have in parentheses a squared divided by 4 times b and then plus c. So we have 12 is a squared divided by 4 times b is 9 plus c is 4. So we work with the parentheses first, and inside the parentheses we still follow the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There's no parentheses inside the parentheses, but there is an exponent. So I work with that first. 12 squared is 144. And then still everything else is the same, because I'm not on that ladder rung yet. After that, I work with multiplication and division from left to right. So the first thing I run into is 144 divided by 4, which is 36. And then 36 times 9 is 324. And then the last thing is addition and subtraction. 324 plus 4 is 328. All right, 21, c squared times, in parentheses, 2 times b minus a. So c squared, c is 4. 2 times b is 9. Minus a is 12. So first thing I do is the stuff in the parentheses. And inside the parentheses, order of operations is multiplication before the subtraction. So I have 4 squared. 2 times 9 is 18. And then the rest of the inside of the parentheses is subtraction. So 18 minus 12 is 6. And then the next, after I finish with the parentheses, is exponents. So 4 squared is 16. And 16 times 6 is 96. I have a fraction, and I'm going to treat the fraction like it has parentheses on top. You treat the top and the bottom of a fraction until you just have a number on top of a number, and then you end with division. So I have b times c squared plus a all over c. So b is 9 times c is 4 squared plus a is 12, and then all over c is 4. And again, I'm going to treat them like they have parentheses around them. So inside the parentheses, I have an exponent that comes first. So I'm going to have 9 times 16 plus 12 over 4. And then I'm going to do the multiplication next inside that parentheses. 9 times 16 is 144. 144 now added to 12 is 156 over 4. And now that I have just a number over a number, I can do the final division, and 156 divided by 4 is 39. 23, we're going to treat very similarly. So I have 2 times c is 4 cubed minus a is 12 times b is 9 over 4. So I'm going to pretend like that top part is in parentheses. I don't put the bottom part in parentheses because it's already just a number. I need to get the top part down to just a number. So inside the parentheses, the thing that comes first is exponents. So 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. So I have 2 times 64 minus 12 times 9. And then inside the parentheses, I do the multiplication next. So 2 times 64 is 128. And then 12 times 9 is 108. And it's still in parentheses until I get it down to just a number. And 128 minus 108 is 20. And now that I have it a number over a number, I can do the final division. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. All right, in number 24, I have 2 times in parentheses a minus b squared minus 5 times c. So I have 2 times a is 12 minus b is 9 squared minus 5 times c is 4. So I do the parentheses first. 12 minus 9 is 3. Then I do the exponents. 2 times 3 squared is 9. And now I do multiplication. 2 times 9 is 18. 5 times 4 is 20. And then 18 minus 20 ends up being negative 2. $25, I have b squared minus 2c squared. Again, I'm going to put those in parentheses so I treat them separately. And then on the bottom, a plus c minus b. So b squared is 9 squared minus 2 times c is 4 squared. And then on the bottom, I have a is 12 plus c is 4 minus b is 9. So inside the parentheses, the first thing I see are exponents. They need to come first. So I'm going to have 9 squared is 81 and 4 squared is 16. And then I have multiplication next. 2 times 16 is 32. Then I'm going to work from left to right on addition and subtraction on both the top and bottom at once. So 81 minus 32 is 49. And then 12 plus 4 is 16. And then I have on the bottom 16 minus 9 is 7. And then 49 divided by 7, I have a number over a number, so I do that final division, and that equals 7. All right, we got 2 word problems. So let's get this out of the way. It says, Anne Carlisle is planning a business trip for which she needs to rent a car. The car rental company charges $36 per day plus 50 cents per mile over 100 miles. Suppose Ms. Carlisle rents the car for 5 days and drives 180 miles. Write an expression for how much it will cost Ms. Carlisle to rent a car. So remember, expression is from the last section. We're going to write a way that we could solve this problem. We're not going to solve it just yet. So we're going to say that they're going to charge $36 per day, and they're going to charge 50 cents per mile over 100. Okay? Now I'm going to call my days D, and I'm going to call miles over 100 M. So that means that for every day that she rents it, they're going to charge her $36. And on top of that, for every mile that she drives over 100, they're going to charge her 50 cents. So this is going to be the charge for every day, 36. If she rented it 2 days, it'd be 36 times 2, or 72. And this is going to be the charge for every mile she goes over 100. And so that's going to be, if she went 2 miles over 100 miles, so 102 miles, it would cost her $1. 2 times 50 cents. Okay, so that's our expression. In B, then, it asks us to actually solve this problem. So we know that she rented the car for 5 days. So this is like when we were doing the evaluating the expressions. We're going to put in values for what they are. So D is 5. That's how many days she rented it. And M, remember, is not just the miles, it's how many miles she went over 100. So M is how many miles she went minus 100. So she went 80 miles over 100. So 80 is what M is. So we just put the numbers into the expression. So we have 36 times 5 plus 0.5 times 80. The first thing, according to order of operations, that we're going to do is multiply. 36 times 5 is 180. And 0.5 times 80 is 40. And then the last thing that we do is 180 plus 40 is 220. So it's going to cost her $220 to rent the car for 5 days and drive it 180 miles. All right, and the last problem of the worksheet, the length of a rectangle is 3n plus 2, and its width is n minus 1. The perimeter of the rectangle is twice the sum of its length and its width. So let me draw you a quick picture. So So it says the length of a rectangle is 3n plus 2. Its width is n minus 1. So if I fill in the other sides of this side up here would be also 3n plus 2, because rectangles, the opposite sides are equal, and then this side over here would also be n minus 1. So when it says it's twice the sum of its length and its width, well, if I add these two together, I have another one that matches it, so that's why it's twice the sum of its length and width. So what they're saying is, if I add its length and its width, and then I multiply it by 2, that answer, that's going to give me the perimeter. So the expression that represents perimeter is its length plus its width times 2. And then we say that n equals 4 inches, so we're going to evaluate this expression by putting 4 in any time that we see n. And this is a little bit different because we see n twice in here. So we're going to say 3 times n is 4, and then plus n is 4 minus 1. So we look at the parentheses, and in this case the first parentheses are the square brackets. And then inside those square brackets are parentheses, so we do those first. So the first thing that I'm going to take care of is this multiplication in the first parentheses. 3 times 4 is 12. Alright, now within each parentheses, I can take care of addition and subtraction because that's all that's left. 12 plus 2 is 14, and 4 minus 1 is 3. And then my square brackets are my parentheses now, so I'm going to take care of 14 plus 3, which is 17, and the last step is 2 times 17 is 34. And since this is a word problem, I know that there must be units to go along with it, so I look back and I see that the units are inches for this. So the perimeter is going to be 34 inches.